When I was a kid, I loved drawing. I would draw pretty much on anything, including the walls sometimes. Just drawing was my thing. It was what I liked to do. I really wanted to be a cartoonist. I loved the Beano, which is probably still exists. Yeah, I'm sure it does. But I wanted to create drawings. I wanted to be an illustrator, even if I didn't know what an illustrator was. I can remember one Christmas, all my friends wanting Star Wars figures or action men or whatever was the popular kind of thing that year. But all I wanted was some brush pens, those neat little felt tip pens that act like a little brush. Well, I got some brush pens and I was delighted. To give you an idea of how obsessed I was with drawing, one year there was something called the Blue Peter Bring and Buy sale, where the idea was that people took their unwanted toot and rubbish along to a location and it would be sold for charity. The problem with bring and buy sales being that a lot of people tend to take home as much crap as they take. So a load of crap moves from one household to another, but most importantly money is raised for charity. I didn't have the resources, I guess, to put on a bring and buy sale. I mean, my parents' bungalow that we grew up in was only so big, and I don't think they'd appreciate it. So instead, I got my mum to buy me a scrapbook, and I filled in every single page of the scrapbook with one of my drawings. I then went round the village and the village church trying to sell drawings. The idea was, if you found a drawing of mine that you liked, I would recreate it for you on the spot. I don't remember how much money I made, but it's testament to how tolerant the adults around me were that I did sell quite a lot of drawings. And after sending the money off, I saw Blue Peter, I don't know what happened to my accent then, on Blue Peter, the totaliser, when I saw it go up just another little bit, I was really pleased. I knew I'd contributed. So at that age, I was already decided I was going to be a cartoonist. But then at high school, something happened. Now, I've got a memory that a teacher might have looked at my cartoons and told me I was crap. But as a caveat, that probably didn't happen. I can't think of any teachers at my high school who were anything other than quite enthusiastic about anything that kids want to do that was positive. So I don't know where that memory is, but for whatever reason, during early years of high school, my love of drawing was just snuffed out. I just stopped. Just didn't do it anymore. For what reason, I can't really remember, but anyway. Over the years, I kind of fancied drawing again, but every time I start to think about it, I'd stumble across some brilliant artist. A couple of my friends, this guy called Steve Larder, another one called Graham Burks, both brilliant artists, and I'd look at what they were creating and then think, I can't ever be that good, so what's the point? Which is daft. That attitude doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't pervade any other aspect of my life. For example, I've been a musician for well over 25 years. This is in spite of the fact that my musical talent appears buried so deep that it's yet to surface in any significant way. Anyway, the point is, I don't know why with drawing, I just decided that I was so poor I shouldn't trouble the world with my scribblings. And then yesterday happened. Now yesterday was my daughter's 6th birthday, and we were heading off to Sutton for a family gathering because pre-medieval graves appeared to be an appropriate place. Anyway, yes, Sutton is near here, it's famous, everyone knows it. And on the way we stopped at a place called Hobby King. No, Hobby King? Hang on, I've got the receipt here. Hobby Craft. Now, I've never been in there before, but my daughter loves to create things, and my wife, well, I actually met my wife while she was doing an art degree, so Hobbycraft is their kind of place, but I'd never been in. I went in yesterday, and oh my goodness, they had so many things in there which I thought were amazing. Things I haven't even thought about in 25, 30 years. Fimo? Fimo's still a thing? Brilliant. Anyway, I was quite excited by all the amazing things in there, and I told my wife the story about how I loved drawing when I was a kid and how it had just been snuffed out. I just stopped doing it. Can you hear my daughter? Yeah, they're playing outside, the kids. She was horrified. My wife was horrified. She said, well, why on earth did you stop? And I was like, I don't know. So I decided at that point I needed to at least try drawing again. So under the the excuse of buying some stuff that I could spend more time with my daughter, in her activities, I bought myself a pad and some nice pens. She does a lot of drawing, and I've always been amazed that my wife can sit down and just create these just beautiful things. And I couldn't. But I thought I'd give it a go. So this morning, which is the last day before school term starts again, just me and my daughter in the house today, and next door's daughter has come over to play. So anyway, they were busy playing with ponies, or that's My Little Pony. We don't have actual ponies or something. So I thought I'd just sit down and just quietly watch a couple of YouTube tutorials on drawing and just have a little scribble, just for fun, for the first time in possibly 30 years. My goodness, my knees are white. Look at that. Anyway, but within a few minutes, I was no longer alone. The girls, my daughter and the girl from next door, had come to join me. And then, what are you doing? Which isn't unusual. I mean, do anything from fixing my bicycle, anything. The girls are generally kind of interested. But they then got some paper out themselves and started drawing as well. Again, nothing that unusual about that, really. But one of the things I'd learned from a YouTube video, which I'll link to in the article, was how to get faces right. So you draw the circle, and you draw a cross across it like that. And I noticed when I looked at their drawings, they were doing the same thing. And I said, "Oh, what are you doing there?" And they said, "Well, they didn't really express what they were doing." But as they carried on drawing, I realised that they were copying the method I'd just learned, and their own drawings had actually progressed this little method. So I'd gone from not having drawn in 30 years to kind of accidentally teaching these girls a method, a method of improving drawings. And I thought that was unbelievably cool. I think that was excellent. But I was wondering why sometimes we don't do, we sort of hold back in front of our kids in a similar way to how we do with the peers. By which I mean, if I was down at the pub or somewhere else, there are certain things that I probably wouldn't do. I love to cartwheel. I'm really good at it. I have no idea, considering how massive I am. I can cartwheel with the best of them. But I hold back when I'm in a work environment or standing in a queue at Sainsbury's. It's an appropriate thing to hold back. But the criterion which we use to hold back things from peers or hold back things when it's appropriate to, I don't think really counts with children. For example, with the cartwheeling, I did a cartwheel in front of my daughter at several National Trust places. It's become a bit of a thing. And she is now really keen to learn how to cartwheel. Now, if I was a sensible parent, I would probably have said to her, I probably just wouldn't have cartwheeled. I would have thought, well, it's a bit of a weird thing to do if you're in your 40s and you're built like a upstood Volvo estate car. But I didn't hold back. I just did it. So I just think it's an interesting thing that perhaps we shouldn't hold back quite as often as we do. Being sensible is appropriate sometimes. So when kids are young, then does it need to be that appropriate? Anyway, I'm rambling. The point of this was that I think if we can pass on to our children that being creative for creative's sake is good, is valid, and I think that would be a really, really important lesson. Just because you're going to create something doesn't mean it has to be the best thing ever. Doesn't mean it has to change the world. But the process of creativity is something that spawns a lot of very positive things. So, there you go. And if you click the link below, you can read the written version of this video, which makes a lot more sense. And you can see the picture of the Sutton Hoo Worrier King. Now, I realise my Suffolk accent might not make that clear. Worrier. Not warrior, but Worrier. Yeah, that's going to get lost, isn't it? Anyway, subscribe if you like the video, comment, Go read the blog post, look at the pictures, and that's it. Thank you. You have come to the end of another Crud Dad blog post video.